What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to show you, finally, after literally over a year of some of you asking, how I style my hair. I will also be discussing how I make these waves last for about 5 days. I have a specific way that I do my waves and they last really, really well. So besides the fact that you guys like the way my hair looks, apparently, because you ask about it all the time, I'm gonna show you how I keep it that way because I feel like that's really handy because doing your hair like this takes a long time and nobody wants to do it more often than once every 5 days. Trust me when I tell you, it's a pain in the ass. Especially if you're like me and you have a lot of very long hair. It's a process, you know? Before we get into it, I would like to just reiterate, even though I think that being that this is a makeup channel, you probably already know this. I am not a hairdresser, okay? I don't know if this is the right way to do things. I just know that this is the way it works for me. I do have a fairly decent base of knowledge about hair because my mom was a hairstylist when I was growing up. She taught me a lot. I spent a lot of time in the salon. She had a lot of knowledge about hair and she shared that with me. Hi Mom, if you're watching this, thank you for all the hair knowledge. But I am not a hair professional. So if I'm doing something wrong and you're a hairdresser, don't yell at me. Just tell me nicely. That's all. That's all. I don't mind if you correct me. I just you know, be nice about it. I do find, however, that this process that I'm going to show you guys has really been working for me for like the last bunch of months. I think I've gotten more compliments on my hair than I've ever gotten, and my hair lasts better than it has ever lasted. Now, I've always kind of had easy hair. I will say that. My hair is naturally very, very thick. It is very long. It grows easily. It is nearly indestructible as far as damaging it is concerned. Like, unless I bleach the absolute shit out of it, it doesn't really ever show any damage. So I can't say that these methods are going to apply to everyone's hair, but if you have fairly similar hair type to me, then maybe you'll find some of the things that I do in this video helpful. Maybe some of them will be helpful, maybe then some of them won't. Maybe all of it will be helpful, maybe none of it will be helpful. But, you know, just figured I would share what I do with you guys, and you could take little pieces of that as you will. Any other questions before we get started? Yes, this is all of my real hair. No, I don't have any extensions. No, this is not my natural hair color. My natural hair color is like a dark, pretty dark brown. I'll list all of the products that I use down below. I don't think that the products themselves need to be these specific products, but these ones do work well for me. For the most part, I use affordable ones with a few a little bit more expensive ones tossed in there, but most of it is stuff that I find at Target, so it's not like anything crazy out of this world expensive. But if you didn't want to use these specific ones for whatever reason, I think that using a similar type of product will probably yield you a similar result. Please don't forget to leave a like on this video because, I don't know, it's gonna need it because it's a hair video and on a makeup channel. It's gonna need help, you know what I mean? And also, I would just really appreciate it. And also, if you're new around here, go ahead and subscribe. I mean, not for hair videos because I don't do these very often. But I don't know, you want to see me do makeup like this? I did this the other day in a different video where I answered your would you rathers and they were ridiculous and that was a good time. I just do other makeup all the time and it's fun and I think that you would like it. Again, I don't really know how to do hair videos, so I'm just like doing my best here. So like if I miss anything or if you have any specific questions that I didn't answer, please feel free to leave them in a comment. I'll do my best to answer them. I think that is all we need to talk about before we get started. So let's just get into it, starting from what my hair looks like at about a rough blow dry. So I washed my hair this morning and I rough dried it to get it ready to style it here with you guys today. But I wanted to go through the products that I use in my hair while it's wet before I rough dry it so that you guys get an idea. Not that I think that these products specifically are what you need to like maintain your style or make your hair come out good, but I think the type of product is a little bit helpful. The first thing that I use in my hair while it's still soaking wet is It's a 10 Miracle Leave-In product. This is the original one. I like the original one. I like the silk version and I like the light version. I have tried the keratin version and I hate it. It made my hair sticky and horrible. I like that it has a thermal protectant in it because I don't like to have to add a thermal protectant to my hair before I heat style it. So the do the 10 things instantly thing is what appeals to me about this, on top of the fact that I think it's a pretty good leave-in. So I put this into the lengths of my hair from about my ear down while my hair is still soaking wet, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I use a ton ton of this. I use a lot because I have a lot of hair and it's very long. Like this bottle is about a third of the way empty and I've only had it for a week and a half and I only wash my hair every 5 days. So do with that information what you will. I don't think that you necessarily need to use as much unless you have extremely thick hair like I do and long hair. My hair is, I'll show you guys in case you can't tell because the camera is cutting it off, but my hair is like literally down to my waist. Like I could tuck it into my pants. Experiment with your own hair and see how much you need. Like I said, I only apply that from about my ears down. I don't like to put leave-in conditioners at the roots. I feel like it weighs it down. It makes it look greasy faster. So in order to keep my hair fresh looking longer, and also I just don't feel like it's necessary to put it in the top. I just do it from about, most hairdressers I think would say, do it from your occipital bone down, but in layman's terms, it's about like the top of your ear. Once that's in, I like to put in the Macadamia Healing Oil Spray. I use different oils all the time, but this is one that I tend to come back to pretty often for a couple of reasons. I don't find that it's heavy. It doesn't weigh my hair down. I don't think it has any silicones in it, if I'm not mistaken, which is, you know, I'm not one of those people who's like super anti-silicone in hair products. I don't really feel like it does anything negative to my hair, but I do feel like oils that have silicone in them can weigh your hair down a little bit more. And because my hair is naturally pretty straight and also it's heavy, I find that the less I weigh it down, the better, while still keeping it hydrated and not. It smells great, and also I believe this bottle is about $14.99, which is not super cheap, but compared to a lot of other hair oils that I find to be about the same quality, I think it's a pretty good price. And the last thing I do to prep my hair before I do a rough blow dry, and this one's gonna seem a little weird to some people, but stick with me because I think this is like integral to the to the fact that my hair lasts for as long as it does through a lot of various life conditions, because I keep my hair styled for 5 days and I also work out at least 5 days a week and I get very sweaty. I am a sweaty bitch. Not only am I a sweaty bitch, but I tend to work out very hard. And since this pandemic thing has been going on, I have been working out outdoors, sometimes in the rain. Now, my hair doesn't always survive through an outdoor rainy workout, but it holds up better than you would think it would. Let me shut up and just show you what I'm talking about. I like to add an extra hold non-aerosol hairspray to my hair while it's still wet before I blow dry it. I don't know how I started doing this, but I did it for some reason, and it seems to really improve the length of time that the waves last in my hair before they start to fall. The reason I like a non-aerosol is because I feel like it's like a more wet product that I could spread through my hair while my hair is wet, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I don't even know if it does, but it doesn't feel like I'm putting like a crispy, dry thing on top of my wet hair. You know, this Dove STYLE+CARE one in particular is really inexpensive and it works well for me, so that's what I use. And I don't keep that one just in the lengths of my hair. I put that right up to my roots so that way it gives my hair more grip and like I can style it better, because you know, like when you first get out of the shower and your hair is too clean and too slippery, it's like almost like it doesn't want to listen to you when you're trying to style it. That step helps me feel like my hair listens to me a little bit better when it's freshly cleaned. And once that's all in, everything's combed through, I have no knots in my hair, that's when I like to rough dry my hair. And basically, you guys know how to blow dry your hair. But if you don't have naturally straight hair, you may need to blow out your hair semi-straight to get a similar result to what I'm about to do. From what I understand from people, friends, over the years who have had wavier hair, what they usually do is blow their hair straight and then start from this point with a straight blow dry rather than just a rough blow dry. So the key to me doing my hair lies in this, the straightener. I do not curl or wave my hair with a curling iron pretty much ever. I own 2 of them and I never use them because I find that I suck at using them compared to this. And I also don't think that my waves last as long with a curling iron as they do with a straightener. And I think that has to do with the double-sided direct heat that you get from the two sides of a straightener combined with like the pressure on the hair cuticle, you know, like you get more little on that hair, and I think that makes it stay longer. I could be wrong. Maybe Brad Mondo will correct me. I could only wish. Man, if Brad responded to me, I'd be so stoked. As a matter of fact, speaking of Brad Mondo, he has a great video about the way you use a straightener to curl your hair. I have had so many people, especially in real life, like my sister, my mom, they try to replicate what I do with the straightener with their hair, and they just don't have the flick of it, and I don't really have a great way personally to explain what I'm doing. But I'm gonna try to find Brad's video and link it in my description because he explained it really, really well, and better than I ever could, probably because he's a professional. So if you can't curl your hair with a straightener, like you can't get that little wrist motion down, I'm gonna link his video so you can go watch that and like get a better idea of how to do it, and then come back and try. The next most important part is sectioning. Now, I used to be super anti-sectioning, and I'll be entirely honest with you, it was simply because I was lazy as fuck. I don't take a million sections. Basically, I just take like the top section of my hair from about above my ears, like we were talking about before, and make sure that I get the back too, because sometimes that gets left out very easily. And I just clip it in place in the top of my head. Then I'll split the remaining hair into two sections just over my shoulders, and I like to brush through it just to make sure we're nice and smooth, and the straightener is gonna just glide through the hair because I'll tell you what, doesn't if you don't brush through it, that's for a certainty. What you'll probably notice as I start using the straightener on my hair is you're gonna see quite a bit of smoke coming off my hair because my hair is not super coarse, but not exactly fine either, and there is a shit ton of it. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, as far as the health of my hair, it is like fairly indestructible. I have done horrible things to my hair over the years, and only one time did it fall off, and you know what, I deserved it. Otherwise, it really can take a lot of abuse. So maybe if you have finer hair, don't turn your straightener up all the way, but I have it on full blast. As far as me actually styling my hair, I'm going to fast forward through a lot of this and just stop to give you guys little pointers where I think that maybe something could be helpful for you. But before we get started, I wanted to explain my method and how I style my actual waves. So what I like to do is in the back sections of my hair, I alternate the direction of the wave. The reason is because I find that that creates a little bit more texture and a little bit more volume in my hair. It gives it a little bit more of like a cool girl, sort of a messy vibe. But when I get to the front, and I use my ears as a reference point again, so from my ear forward, I only curl the hair away from my face. I find that that frames my face better, but the added texture in the back section kind of balances it, so it's not like two perfect glamorous curls. Sometimes when I'm feeling froggy, I'll do alternating curls over my whole head and just make sure the two front sections are away from my face. Or if I really am trying to go for a more polished glam look, like maybe I'm going for a night out or I have to wear like a cocktail dress or something, then I do away from my face on both sides all the way around to the back of my head until it gets to the middle and meets, if that makes sense. But generally what you guys see all the time on a regular basis is alternating in the back, and then the front pieces are all going backward to frame the face. So I'm just gonna dive in and start putting waves in my hair the way I described. I'm gonna put on a YouTube video to keep myself entertained because this shit takes a long time. I'm watching Gus Johnson, and that's where we're at, and I'll check in with you guys if I have any tips along the way. Oh, one thing before I even finish the first wave, I like to leave the very end, the little tip out, just so it doesn't look too perfect. By the time I'm done with this, it's gonna look crazy. Like I'm gonna look like the cowardly lion, and you're gonna be like, what is wrong with you? Why would you style your hair this way? You can't judge until I brush it out, okay? Okay, just those two notes. Let's get going. About every every 2 curls or so, I like to take a break and hit it with my other hairspray. So this is the one I've been using lately. This is the L'Oreal Lock It Weather Control Hairspray. Wow, this stuff is really good. It's like $3, which would love that. And I find that this is better for keeping my style in place than pretty much any other hairspray I've ever used in my whole entire life. It's actually pretty amazing. Now, it feels crunchy and like you're kind of spraying like construction adhesive into your hair at first. So I like to do a curl, let it sit for a second, let it cool, and then I coat it with this hairspray, and it feels like my hair is maybe a little bit made of plastic for a second. But once we're done styling the hair, all the curls have cooled, and you brush through it, it has no stickiness, no crunchiness. My hair is super shiny, and it keeps my hair in place for a really, really long time. So I love it. You could probably use any bold control, high control, strong hold, whatever the fuck hairspray you like. It doesn't really matter. I just happen to really like this one, and it's super affordable. The important part is that you use a lot of hairspray in your hair. And I know a lot of people are averse to hairspray because they're like, oh, I don't want my hair to be crunchy. But I promise if you put it in and then you brush it through, it's gonna be fine. Bottom section is done. I told you, it looks like the Cowardly Lion. It looks bad. It doesn't look good yet. It's not gonna look good until we're done, I promise. I'm gonna take down another piece from the front, and then I'll do another piece from the back and another piece from over here, and then the last thing I'll do is like the very front top section. All right, we're up to this really cool, very neat and perfectly proportioned last section at the top and the front of my head. This is arguably the most important part because this is the spot that frames your pretty little face. So I like to part my hair in the center lately. I used to part it on the side, but center part is what's up these days. And I'm just gonna take these 2 sections down. What I like to do at the top section is, first of all, I make them all go away from the face, you know, for the face framing effect that we talked about earlier. But before I even get to the actual wave, or it's kind of a curl that we're gonna brush into a wave, before I even get to that part, I like to take the straightener and kind of bevel the top of my hair. So I just put it under the hair and turn it like this. It kind of gives more shape to the root, and that way you get a little bit more bounciness, a little bit more height before you even start the wave, and then it kind of like, I don't know, it just makes the whole thing come together better. And once you've beveled the root, just go down the hair with the straightener like you did right on the rest of your whole head. It's the same thing, except you beveled the root first. You could theoretically do that all over your entire head if you really lack volume in your hair. If I did that, my hair would be enormous. On these front pieces, I find it important to make sure that I start the wave up pretty high. I'll even go so far as to like twist the wave so that it sits a little bit tighter while it cools, because having this little whoosh right here really like frames your face. And if you do it right, like if you nail it, you can like get it to hit right by your cheekbone, and it makes your cheekbones pop more. You know, hair is so important and we don't even talk about it enough, okay? Okay, it's been a few minutes. My curls are thoroughly cooled. Basically, I'd like to take like a soft brush. This brush in particular was a brush that came with a set of hair extensions, so it's specifically meant to not like yank the hair out of your hair extensions, which makes it just a little bit more gentle. The other thing that I usually use, which I keep in my bathroom, and this is just like a different version of it that I keep here at my desk, I use a wet brush sometimes. Your hair doesn't have to be wet to use a wet brush. It just has like more gentle bendy bristles. It just doesn't yank the shit out of your hair, which comes in handy when you're brushing through curls that have a lot of product in them already. Basically, start at the bottom and just softly brush up the curls of the hair and break those curls up a little bit. Make sure you get all the ones in the middle too. Sometimes I forget those, and then later I'm like, I got some Shirley Temple curls left in the middle there. Look how much better. It's so much better. I'm gonna go ahead and back comb my roots a little bit. I'm just gonna take this like one long top section, like I just slid it around this way, and I'm just gonna back comb it a little bit just to show you the complete finished result next to the unbrushed curls. Not that it's complete, I'm gonna add one more product, but you know what I mean. So this is pretty much my finished waves, and this is the unbrushed curls. Quite a difference now. I grabbed my Living Proof Full Dry Volume Blast. Any volume spray should do the trick. I just happen to particularly like this one. The other one that I also like is, I think it's Dry Bar, Martini something or other, I don't know, but it's like a full volume blast, dry blah 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 kind of spray too. And I just kind of hit the ends of it with that, kind of make sure that those curls get a little bit more texture and separation, because my hair tends to be a little bit like it wants to be flat all the time. All right, I did my makeup, I filmed my other video. This hair has had a minute to settle in. Let's talk about how I keep my hair fresh for up to 5 days. Sometimes it's more like 4 days if the weather is really bad, if it gets rained on like really heavily or something like that. But for the most part, I can get 5 days out of it pretty easily. And day 5 still looks like I have my hair done. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a ponytail day. So there are a few key things that I do to make sure that my hair stays for as long as it does. Number one is I prep my hair with all of the products that you guys saw. I think that the amount of hairspray that I use really makes a big impact on how long my curls last, or waves, whatever you want to call them. The other factor is how I treat my hair with dry shampoo as the days go by. Like I said, I work out a lot. Like 5 days a week usually is the bare minimum, and it's usually something pretty intense. And what I do to keep my hair from being ruined through those workouts is, first of all, I preload my hair with dry shampoo before I get to the gym. I think that's very important because it absorbs the sweat as it comes into your hair, rather than trying to like fight the sweat out of your hair afterward. Other thing that I do, and I'll demonstrate real quick, even though it might fuck up the way my hair looks right now, but I could always brush it. But I put my hair in a bun when I'm working out, like this specifically. So I pile it into, hold on, gotta flip over so I can do it. I pile it onto the top of my head, but I don't put the hair tie in it right away. I wrap the hair around itself first, and then put the hair tie over the outside of the bun. Now, the reason I find this bun to be more helpful than one that is tied at the base of the actual ponytail part itself, but the reason I think that that makes a difference is because the ponytail, the holder, the tie doesn't make as much of a dent like right up here at your root. So when you take it down, it still kind of looks pretty normal. But the other thing is that with all of the actual like styled waves of your hair sitting above the actual scalp, it doesn't get sweaty. So like the sweat stays only like more in the scalp portion of my hair, which I have previously loaded with dry shampoo. And I just tend to take my hair out of the bun as soon as the workout's over so I can let my roots start to dry. And then when I get home, if I need to, I'll add a little bit more dry shampoo, but I'll also just take my blow dryer and just hit the roots of my hair with the blow dryer real quick to get like the actual moisture of the sweat out of my hair. And usually it looks pretty much the same after I'm done. Like obviously sometimes I need to brush back through it again. Like right now I could probably stand to brush through it just from putting it up in that bun for a second. That's what I do for workouts or any strenuous activity where it might get a little bit sweaty. Now, as far as sleeping is concerned, I used to sleep with my hair in that same bun, but I have found recently in the last few months that I think that doing that with how much hair I have and the weight of that hair was causing some breakage for me. Like I have some really short pieces underneath that are definitely breakage, and I think that's what it was from. So I've stopped doing that. and I literally just go to bed with my hair down and just let it fly. Just let it flail all over the bed if I need to. I don't know that that's going to work for everyone though, because I know that some people wake up with some really serious bedhead. So if that's you, then maybe the wrapped bun might be a better option. But for me right now, I'm trying to avoid adding to any more of that breakage underneath. So this seems to be working better for me right now. As far as like going back in and styling it again after I've styled it, I don't do that. I never do that. I don't touch up my hair with the straightener between washes, like pretty much ever. For the most part, I generally don't feel like I need to do that, so that's why it's easy for me to avoid it. But I also like to avoid doing it because I don't want to put heat on my hair many times during the week. I'd rather just do it like once every 5 days and just leave it at that. The dry shampoo that I like to use is the Dove dry shampoo, and I use the brunette version. The other versions are great, but because my hair is so dark, they do leave white streaks, so I've moved over to using the brunette one, and I like it a lot better. The active one is really good too though if you are a sweaty ass bitch like me. I do find that that one does absorb more, but again, it leaves some white streaks, so gotta be careful, and the brunette one's just been easier for me lately. I think that's pretty much all of the tips that I have, and sums up how I do my hair and how I maintain my hair. You guys have been asking me to do this for the longest time, and it just didn't feel like I had like the time between makeup videos, but now that makeup releases have been few and far between, it seemed like the right time to do it. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope this answered your questions. If you have any more questions, like I said, I'm not a hair channel, so I don't know if I covered everything the way that I should have, but I would love to answer anything else that you want to know. So leave me a question in the comments and I will jump down there and answer as many of them as I can. If you have any tips for how to keep your hair fresh throughout the week and stuff, I would love to hear those too, because I don't know, you know, sharing is caring. Don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, if you found it helpful. If you're new around here, sorry that you found me on a hair video. This is a makeup channel. Hi, this is the makeup I usually do. Feel free to go ahead and subscribe if you're into that kind of thing, or you just want to hang out. That'd be great. Also, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I'm at Miss Quinface over there, and I would love to have you. We do all sorts of polls. You guys make suggestions for videos. You gave me really ridiculous would you rathers for the other video that I filmed today. If you haven't seen that yet, it should be up by now. I think I'm going to put that one up first, so you can click up here on the screen and go watch that if you'd like. If you have any other video requests, please leave those in the comments as well, because times are weird and I need ideas. I think that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for taking the time to click on this video. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next one, which will be probably a makeup video and not a hair video, but I'll see you anyway.